we are here to tell you about a new and improved historical society. We have been working very hard in the last year to build a new museum. The museum is small, very modern, and very relevant. And we will feature in the museum some of Talbot County's notables. You certainly remember Frank Home Run Baker. You might not know that Baker played with the legendary Babe Ruth. And his daughter-in-law, who still lives in Trapp, has a marvelous picture of Baker standing with Ruth in Yankee Stadium, and we're going to put that in our new museum. You might not know the name of Samuel Hamilton. He's a War of 1812 hero. He fought next to Admiral Perry. He was the first American to set foot on Japanese soil. He won the Medal of Honor for his heroics in the Battle of Lake Erie. And we have that medal in our vault, and we are going to display it in our new museum. Of course, we will honor Frederick Douglass, but what you may not know is that after the war and after Reconstruction, Douglass returned to Talbot County. He met with the man who owned him, and they had a reconciliation that was really quite remarkable. We will honor Bill Corcoran. He was known as Mother Easton. He really is credited with keeping Easton a small town. Dixon Preston, the great author and historian of the county. May Brooks, you may not know. She is recognized as bringing tennis to Talbot County. Mary Bartlett Dixon, Martin Higgins, Jim Rouse. Some of you may not know that Jim Rouse, the developer of Columbia, the man who created the phrase shopping mall, was born and raised in Easton. Tench Tillman, of course, Washington's aide, who carried the news of Cornwallis's surrender to the Continental Congress. Harry Walsh, the outlaw gunner who spent his life here working as a surgeon in the hospital, and many, many others will be honored in our new museum. But we are really here to talk to you about the mission of the Historical Society. We are a 501c3 organization. For 61 years, we have been privately funded. But ladies and gentlemen of the council, we have a public mission. And that mission is twofold. One, we are the repository for most of the county's historic artifacts. These are portraits, these are silver, these are dresses, wedding gowns, and an enormous array of artifacts. We have a vault that is humidity and temperature controlled. It is extraordinarily expensive to maintain that vault. But we have another mission. And that mission is to educate Talbot Countyans and people who come here to visit about this great county. So we are coming here to ask you to embrace us and to support us as we move forward. Our new museum will open on May 29th. In early June, we will have a special night where we will invite each of you to come and have a private tour of the new museum. I think it will knock your socks off. I'd like to thank you again for inviting us, and now ask our treasurer, Mr. Cecil, to speak to you about some of the challenges that we have.
In 2011, Roger Bowman surveyed the Talbot Historical Society's 15-year capital cost needs to maintain the historic buildings and grounds that comprise our campus. You should have a packet of photographs in front of you for each of these properties. Roger's conclusion was that during this period, the maintenance cost of this property would aggregate over $750,000. One result was our decision to put the second floor auditorium at 17 South Washington Street on the market, and this was sold last December, reducing the projection by $250,000. Of note also is that the Talbot County Garden Club voluntarily maintains our grounds every year at no charge to the Historical Society. What we still face, however, is a future aggregate capital expense of roundly $500,000. A portion of this can be covered by private funds raised some years ago to preserve what is the Mary Jenkins House at 30 South Washington Street. But in order to preserve the 5 other historic buildings we own may cost $450,000 in the period covered by Roger's study. The largest project would be an estimated $200,000 cost for the Neal House at 29 South Washington Street. Another big need is the building at 25 South Washington Street, which houses our new Tharp Antique Shop. This building is in near-term need of structural support in the basement and a new roof on top. Roger's estimates here could be low as to both timing and amounts. The Talbot Historical Society's ability to finance this level of spending on its own is virtually non-existent. Though we have made difficult decisions to reduce our operating costs over the last few years and hope to be near break-even on an operating basis in fiscal 2016, our primary sources of support have declined. Annual contributions, for instance, are off 40% since 2011, while major event revenue is down 45%. Membership has actually been gradually rising, but this is a comparatively smaller revenue amount. While the Talbot Historical Society is a relatively small organization compared to other nonprofit groups in the county and which have access to greater financial support, we are faced with a major challenge to preserve some historic structures which are important to the community, and we probably are no longer able to do this on our own any longer. Thanks for your time.
We certainly appreciate the mission of the Talbot County Historical Society and understand the needs of the buildings, the historic buildings that you have on that campus. It would be great at some point to see the Neal House restored properly, and I know there's been a lot of work on that structure over the years, and to open it up more often for tours and things. I know it is open quite frequently. But it's a great story to tell, and as representatives of the Talbot County citizens, it is a reasonable goal for this council, I believe, to help and make sure that we can tell that story into the future. So I appreciate your coming here. We've done some things recently, and you'll see in the budget that we released today a new initiative that may help you all going forward. You know, the budget process has already sort of occurred, but we have set up a fund. I'll call it sort of the Historic Assets Fund. And this is a fund that we are going to use some of the monies from the cable franchise fees that we get every year, specifically for historic assets in the county that provide an educational experience for children from the schools, for example. This year we're trying to target, and even though the budget isn't released or even voted on yet, and subject to review by the community, etc., we're trying to dedicate a certain number of dollars every year for what we call historic assets. And one place we're targeting this year was the grist mill for some needs that they have. But certainly next year, I think the Historical Society would be well suited for that kind of fund. And the details will be released later today as we release our budget. But I think I think that the history of Talbot County certainly is an important thing to preserve, and we have such a rich history, and with everything that Cassandra's doing with tourism and the stories of the Chesapeake that we're going to talk about later, all of it ties in well together. And you have such a significant collection and such a remarkable collection. We really want to see that preserved into the future, as well as the bricks and mortar of the campus. So I certainly, having been on the board of the Historical Society and seen the mission up close, I certainly lend my personal support to that effort. Obviously, dollars and cents are important, and we need to reconcile the needs of the community. But from where I sit, it's an important piece of the puzzle in our efforts to highlight Talbot County to the rest of the world and to keep our tourism industry healthy and giving people places to go to learn about history. So thank you all for coming, and I hope we can help you in the future.
I appreciate you guys coming here. I'm very fortunate to be working with you guys on the Mary Jenkins. And it's a privilege to actually be working with you guys and working with the historical committee. I feel like it's going to add a really big diamond to Talbot County. I can't wait till it opens. And I really appreciate you guys really working hard and donating your time with all the efforts that have been put into the Mary Jenkins House, because it's a big deal. And I think that Talbot County is blessed to have somebody like you guys driving this, and the county is going to really benefit from the museum. And I had a privilege to see in the one building that's got all the artifacts and all that stuff, and it's really something to see. So I really support it. I think that it's huge for Talbot County to have something like that, and I can't wait till it opens and be proud to show it and you know, just be a part of it. So I really appreciate everything you guys have done.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Senator. We appreciate it.